Hello, Nyojo, and welcome everybody, and we are live. So today's topic of conversation is: Are we setting our kids up for success or just for survival? So this is something that have been on our minds a little bit as we grow into our business, and just thinking about it as a parent. Are we wanting the? We are all wanting what's best for our kids, right? And then we think about what can we do to help guide them. So let's talk about what it really means to prepare them for success, not just for today, but for their future. So grab a seat and let's get started. And then before we get started, I want to have my guest introduce herself, and we will go from there.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. For all of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tay. I am a business coach in this business. I've been doing this for quite a long time. I love it so much. I am doing it full time. And when I say full time, it's not a full 8 hours or 40 hours a week. So I truly think this business is such a blessing. So I'm so excited to be here to share some benefits with you guys. So yeah, thank you for having me here, Fia.
Yes, thank you for joining me. And all right, so let's get started. And the question is, it's in our title. Are we setting our kids up for success or just for survival? What is your thoughts, and what can you share with our audience today that are watching us live or tuning in later to catch the replay?
I that's a great question. And I love coming on and just thinking out loud with my audience too. So I am so glad that you have that question because we as kids were taught to play life safe, right? And we were always told go to school, get a good job. But what if that mindset is keeping us and our kids stuck, right? What if it's keeping our kids stuck in the cycle of struggle instead of creating real financial freedom for them? And we all want the best for our kids. I'm sure that, you're a mom, I'm a mom. And if you don't have kids yet, maybe this is for you to think about, because we want the best for our kids, but we tell them to dream big. We always say, dream big. You can be whatever or whoever you want to be. But then we guide them down the same path we took. We tell them to go to school, get a degree, find a good job, and then what, right? Get a good job and then what? Work paycheck to paycheck, barely keeping up, just like we are, right? We go to work, we work on somebody else's time, we wake up on somebody else's time. But let's pause. Let's pause and take a look at why. Why do we do this? We do this because that's all we knew growing up, right? Our parents did their very best to raise us, just like we are trying to raise our kids now. But quite honestly, times have changed. A degree doesn't guarantee stability anymore. I'll be really real here. That degree
Yes.
is just giving you more debt, okay? And there's
Hmm.
nothing wrong if you want to go to school and you want to add on more debt. That's fine. But for me, I just tell my son, if you, whatever you want to do in life, however you want to change the world, that's what you need to do. I'm not going to tell you to go to college. Hey, if you want to go, that's totally fine. And nothing wrong with education, right? It's good to be educated. And most people aren't living. Okay. The reality is they're not living when they work and go get a job. They're just surviving. We work to
Hmm.
survive. We don't work. We don't. I don't want to work to survive. I want to see the world. And the missing piece is financial education. Okay. We don't educate our kids on financial freedom because we were taught to be good employees, right? The blue collars or good employees. Not We were taught not to, uh, how to, um, how do you say? We weren't taught how to build wealth. Okay, we grew up afraid to invest. We grew up and we are afraid to take risks, right? Because we're always told to take the safe route, and we stick to what's safe. I know I did when I started this business. I was scared to invest quite honestly, I was like, oh, I'd rather save my money in the bank and hope for the best. And then the next year around, when tax comes around, I still have to pay for it, even if it's just a couple cents that uh, I make from interest from just putting my money in the bank, right? And
Yes.
that's why if you come on my page and you see me, you probably hear my lives. I'd be like, stop waiting for things to happen and make things happen, right?
Hmm.
um,
That's very true. When
mhm.
you said that, that reminded me of, survival. It's like when once we start working our 9 to 5, right, we tend to want to continue doing that because that's um, our safe zone, and we're comfortable where we are, and we're learning, or not learning, but we're continuing to get that income, and we forget to think about business, right? In our growth of our career, and we tend to, oh, I need to go get another level of degree because I want to get pay more, right? Instead of, oh, why don't I go get a business degree, or learn how to start a business versus getting another degree to counter offer that the loan, right? So that we can pay it off faster versus grabbing another loan added on top of what we already got.
Mhm.
And it's just the cycle of life, right? Because like you said, is because we were taught that, so we tend to not remember um, that there's more to life than just getting up, reporting to work, and then getting a paycheck every 2 weeks or whatever. And we don't get to live our life unless we get approval from the higher ups, or accruing enough PTO, whatever it is that it is there in the corporate world, right?
But let's be real here, right? And I want to say the amazing part about our online business is when you're some ordinary people, right? It's easy made online business built for ordinary people like me and you, or anybody out there who wants to start a business but don't know where to begin, right? And everything's given to you, and you just have to learn and make it work for you. But let's
Yes.
be real, right? Let's talk about how like we are just teaching our kids to do the same thing that we did in that cycle of teaching us to be just workers and not own like CEOs, right? But like
Hmm.
I said, times has changed. Let's be real. How has that been working out, right? Of just go to school, get a good job, and then wait for a paycheck.
That's right.
Instead of that, what if we taught our kids different, right? What if we taught them differently? Because we can change. Change starts with us, right? But we have to, you have to lead by example. Because if you don't lead by example, your kids are going to do exactly what you do. If you sit and watch TV all day after, or TV after you get home from work, your kids are going to watch TV. But if you read a book, they're going to read a book, right? If you play on your phone while at school, they're going to do the same thing too. But let's teach them differently, right? Instead of just preparing them for work or preparing them to work for somebody else, we can show them how to create something on for of theirs for their own, right? And we can teach
Hmm.
them how to make money work for them, not work for money, not trade their time for money, but instead learn how to make money work for them instead of just working for money every day. And
Yeah.
we, again, not just telling them to dream big, but showing them what's possible, right? Showing
Hmm.
them what's possible instead of just telling them. And we have to lead by example, though. We can't tell somebody to do something and then not do it ourselves, right? Yeah.
Yes, that reminds me. The other
Yeah.
day, my eldest, he's like, well, if we go shopping, you can just use your money. I'm like, no. That's the reason why you have an allowance, or you have money in your wallet, so that you can learn about spending, right? Because we're teaching him about what is a need and what is a want, because he loves to buy toys every time we go to the store. And his dad's really bad at allowing him to buy it. So I've been teaching him what I tell his dad when he asks me, "Can I buy this?" Well, do you want it or do you need it? So, we went to the store, and obviously he looked at everything, and he's learning the difference between need and want. And then at the end, he's like, "Oh, well, I want this, mom." and then he goes back into thinking about needing it. Do I really need this? And he makes a decision himself, and he puts it away. So that's one thing, like our online business is, we're teaching ourselves how to survive on the online world, and then now our kids get to watch us, and we get to thrive, and everything in between. And the online world, it is a scary place. But before we leave, what is one thing you would like to leave with our audience today about setting our kids up for survival, especially in the online world, because we know how things are moving towards that way?
That's a great question too. I'm going to say that playing it safe isn't really safe anymore. Uh, the real risk is staying stuck in a system that was never designed to give us freedom anyways, the blue collar. And if we don't break that cycle, who will? Right? Like I said, change starts with you. If you change nothing, nothing changes. So if you've
Mm.
ever felt stuck, barely making ends meet, but too scared to take that leap, you're not alone. I was once there in your shoe. We were once there in your shoe. Actually, I can speak for. I'm sure I'm speaking for both of us, and for any one of you out there that's watching or are going to see this later. You're not alone. We were there. We were scared. We were skeptical. But you have to ask yourself: do you want to lead your kids back into that repeated cycle of waking up, go to work, come home, wait for a paycheck? Or do you want to show them another way? Right. The good news is it's not too late. It's never too late. It's has to start with us. We learning and growing and stepping out of our comfort zone, because coming home and waiting for that paycheck or getting comfortable and say, I'm too tired, I'm too exhausted, I'm too busy. That's wanting to go back into your comfort zone, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And if we say we don't have time, it's just saying that I don't want to, because you can dedicate an hour, 30 minutes to working on your dreams and working to better your future, not just for ourselves, but for our next generation, our kids. And the best thing about this business is you can create a legacy and build generational wealth. Because the greatest gifts that we can give our kids isn't just financial stability, okay? It's the knowledge, the confidence, and the freedom to build a life that they truly love, and that they don't ever have to trade time for money, because we don't teach them. Who's going to teach them, right? So teach yourself how to build an online business, even if it's not this one. But I highly recommend this one, because this one's too good of a blessing not to share. And I guarantee you will love it so much, because if you see how generous our comp plan is, and our amazing life-changing products, and our amazing life-changing system and our community, you would truly love it. And then you can lead by example for your kids and teach them how to build financial freedom and time freedom instead of trading their time for money, because it's not too late to teach your kids that, hey, you can choose whatever route you want, but let's do it this way and see if you like it, right? Maybe sometimes it's not for everybody, financial freedom and time freedom, but who doesn't love having control of their own time, being able to do whatever they want and go wherever and whenever? So teach your kids, give them knowledge, give them confidence, and teach them that building financial freedom, time freedom, and living a life on their own term that they truly love and deserve and are worthy of. So that's what I want to do our audience with tonight, since this topic is amazing. It's about our kids, and I'm passionate, and I have so much love for my son that I don't want him to like trade time for his time for money. I want him to be able to utilize his time to his terms, right? So lead by example, okay?
Yes, lead by example. Well, I just want to say thank you for joining me tonight and covering this very, very important topic that some of us parents tend to not think about or wonder about too much every now and then, because we just want our kids to be safe and be a kid, right? Because we were able to be kids and growing up. And then, like you said earlier, financial, it's not taught in school. So instead of waiting for the schools to teach our kids, we are our kids' first teacher. So do you want your kid to be set up for success, just for survival? Hopefully this message was able to resonate with you, or if you know somebody who can resonate with this live today, share it with them. And before we go, I just want to say thank you to all my viewers, our viewers, for tuning in live or catching a replay later. Let us know if you have any additional questions. We will be happy to answer those questions, or anything in general, right? Any kind of questions. We are here. And with that being said, we'll catch you guys live next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.